Hello students, in chapter 4, that is application of derivatives. Today we start with the lecture of maxima and minima. Let us start by taking the function y is equal to fx and draw the graph of this function by taking the x values on the x-axis and the y values or the fx values on the y-axis. Suppose the graph comes out as a curve like this. Now, we consider the area of the curve or the portion of the curve between the open interval a to b. And in this particular portion, suppose at x is equal to c, the function attains the maximum value. As you can see, the graph is having a peak at that particular point that is there. And the corresponding y coordinate is say fc, such that this point has the coordinate, the maximum point has the coordinate c, fc. The point at the highest level has the coordinate say c and fc. Then in this case, we say that c is the point of maxima and fc is the maximum value of that particular function that is there. Now, let me show you something with the help of a laser pointer. In this case, we find that to the left of c, consider the curve to the left of c. To the left of c, we find that the graph goes on increasing, the curve goes on increasing. Whereas to the right of c, the curve goes on decreasing. So, such a curve is said to attain maximum value at say x is equal to c. So, we can define this particular function, the maximum for a function like this. That is, if for a function y is equal to fx, c belongs to the open interval a to b. That is, c lies between the points a and b such that fc is greater than fx for all x values lying between a and b. Then c is called as the point of maxima and the corresponding fc, that is a y value, is called as the maximum value. Just think about this definition for a. Consider this function again, y is equal to fx, say a different function. Now this time when we draw the graph of the function, suppose it comes out this way, and again we consider the curve between the open intervals a, b. And suppose the function takes the minimum value at x is equal to c. As you can see, the function, the graph, the curve is at the lowest level at x is equal to c and the corresponding y coordinate is say fc. Such that the coordinates of this point are c and fc. In such a case, we say that c is the point of minima and the corresponding fc is the minimum value of the function. Now, as you can see, f decreases, the function decreases from the left up to c, and then from the right of c it goes on increasing. So we can define the minimum value in this way. That is, if for a function y is equal to fx, c belongs to the open interval ab such that fc is less than fx for all x belongs to ab. Again, this means for all other values of x, fc is less than fx. Then c is called the point of minima and the corresponding fc is called the minimum value. Again, you can pause the video and just think about the definition. Now, each time we draw a graph, it won't be as simple as getting just one minimum or one maximum value. Very often it may be like this in this diagram as it is shown, where the function may have several maxima and several minima. As you can see in this function, there are at least two maximum values. The function takes on a maximum at a as well as c. And similarly, it takes on a minimum at d as well as b. So in such cases, the maxima are called local maxima and minima are called local minima. Getting this? So very often this may be the case. So out of all the local maxima, the value which is the greatest is called as absolute maximum. And out of all the local minima, the value which is the least is called absolute minimum. So for this particular graph, we can say that c is the absolute maximum and d is the absolute minimum of the graph or of the function that is there. The maximum and the minimum values of a function are called extreme values. We are going to have sums where we have to find these extreme values. it is not possible to draw the graph of the function each time it is given. And therefore, we use the method of derivatives. Here, the method of derivatives which we are going to use is known as second derivative test. Now, you realize that there is also something called first derivative test. But then that test, we will not come across the test at all in any of the sums. So, we only have to learn about this particular test over here. The steps are, the first step, for the function y is equal to fx, find its derivative. That is, find f dash of x. Then, secondly, from f dash of x, find the second derivative. That is, find f double dash of x. That is, find the derivative of f dash of x now. So, it is called as f double dash of x. Then, after finding f dash x, once you find f dash x, you can put f dash x as 0. It is going to be an equation. So, when you put the equation as 0, you can find the solution for the equation. That is, you can find the roots of the equation. And then, if c is one of the roots of the equation, f dash x, then we put x is equal to c in f double dash of x. That is, in the second derivative, we substitute x is equal to c. And we find the value of f double dash of c. Then we check this value out. If the value is negative, if f double dash of c is negative, less than 0, then we say that f has a maximum at x is equal to c. Similarly, if f double dash of c is positive, greater than 0, then f has a minimum at x is equal to c. Now, the concept of maxima and minima is quite vast actually. I can draw a graph and show you how the maxima and minima we arrive at such values. But then for practical solving of sums, the graph is not required, and therefore I am only explaining the method without going into detail of how to prove it, how to find it out, etc. So we go on to the sums now. You will understand the second derivative test in a better manner when we start doing the sums. So in exercise 4.3 of your textbook, the first question is determine the maximum and minimum values of the following functions. The first one here, fx is equal to 2x cube minus 21x square plus 36x minus 20. For the function, we start by finding f dash of x. You will realize that the steps are the same for each and every sum. So f dash x turns out here to be 6x square minus 42x plus 36. After finding f dash x, we also find the derivative of f dash x. That is, we find f double dash of x, the second derivative. So, for 6x square minus 42x plus 36, the second derivative becomes 12x minus 42. Then, we put f dash of x as 0. So, the corresponding equation, that is 6x square minus 42x plus 36 becomes 0. Taking 6 common, we get a quadratic in the bracket. We solve the quadratic by splitting the middle term. And thus we get the factors. So thus we get x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 6. Now for finding maximum and minimum, we do two parts. That is, we make two parts of the sum. In the first part, we take x is equal to 1. For x is equal to 1, the second derivative, that is f double dash of x, is 12x minus 42. We substitute x is equal to 1 in this equation. So we get f double dash of 1, which is like this, that is 12 into 1. Wherever x is there, we put 1 in the equation. So we get a negative value, that is we get minus 30, which is negative. And therefore, I have explained to you, isn't it, in the previous slide, that when f double dash of c is negative, the function has a maximum. So we conclude that fx attains maximum at the point x is equal to 1. And what is the maximum value of the function? We put x is equal to 1 in the question, that is in fx. So in fx, that is in the question, which is 2x cube minus 21x square plus 36x minus 20. We put x is equal to 1 because we got 1, isn't it, as the maximum. F has a maximum at x is equal to 1. So we put x is equal to 1 in the question part to get the maximum value, which turns out to be like this. That is, by solving this particular part of the sum, we get the answer as minus 3. Then the b part, that is the other answer for x. We also got x as 6. So again, for x is equal to 6, the second derivative is the same, that is 12x minus 42. This time, by putting x as 6 in the equation, we get the answer as 50. Since 50 is positive, we conclude that from the definition, we conclude that the function attains a minimum at x is equal to 6 and the minimum value comes out to be f6. That is, we put 6 in the question. X is equal to 6 in the question which we got, that is fx, and we get the value like this, that is minus 128. So remember, whenever the second derivative turns out to be negative, we conclude that the function has a maximum value at that particular point. And when the second derivative, that is f double dash of x, is positive, we conclude that the function has a minimum value at that particular point. So this is going to be same for all the sums that you are going to do. So thus we conclude our answer from here. The second sum, fx is equal to x into log x. So as you can see, u into v is given over here. Let us see how to do this particular sum. Remember, this is an important sum. It has been asked before in the board exam for at least 3 marks. Now, as usual, for fx, we first find f dash of x by using the formula u into v. That is x into the derivative of log x plus log x into the derivative of x. You know that for the first term, we are going to get x into 1 upon x. And for the second term, log x is going to remain as it is because ddx of x is 1. Thus by simplifying, we get f dash of x as 1 plus log x. Then we go on to find f double dash of x. That is the derivative of f dash x. So the derivative of 1 plus log x turns out to be 1 upon x because 1 becomes 0 and log x becomes 1 upon x. Then when f dash of x is 0, the corresponding equation, that is 1 plus log x, becomes 0. We solve it this way, that is log x is equal to minus 1 by taking 1 on the RHS. Now minus 1 means minus log e because log e is 1. So log x becomes minus log e. We can simplify this further by writing log x is equal to log e raised to minus 1. If you remember, any number which is multiplied with the log can be written as a power of the term. So minus 1 into log e becomes log e raised to minus 1. Thus, log x is equal to log 1 upon e because e raised to minus 1 is nothing but 1 upon e. In the denominator, the power becomes positive. That is the power, the sign of the power changes, if you remember. Okay, so log x is equal to log e. Removing the log from both the sides, we get x is equal to 1 upon e. Thus we find the value for x. Now let us determine whether it is maximum or minimum. So for that we take f double dash of x. So for x is equal to 1 upon e, f double dash of x is 1 upon x. And therefore f double dash of 1 upon e, since x is 1 upon e, we get f double dash of 1 upon e. We put x as 1 upon e. So we get 1 upon x, which becomes 1 upon 1 upon e. So e comes to the numerator and e is a positive number. If you remember, e is a number between 2 and 3. So obviously e is a positive number. As a result, we say that the function attains a minimum at x is equal to 1 upon e. And what about the minimum value? Yes, we put in fx, we put x as 1 upon e. The question becomes 1 upon e into log 1 upon e. If you remember, fx is x into log x. So it becomes 1 upon e into log 1 upon e, which is solved like this. That is 1 upon e log e raised to minus 1. That minus 1 comes to the left hand side of the log. That is, we get minus 1 upon e log e. Now log e is 1. So the answer becomes minus 1 upon e. So make a note of this sum, especially do this sum properly. Practice this sum properly. The third question, fx is equal to x square plus 16 upon x is given. So we find f dash of x like this. Now fx, now whatever I've written in the square bracket over here in blue color, it is just for your reference. You are not expected to write all this in the exam, just to make you understand how we get the derivative of fx. I'm writing this particular step over here. See, fx is x square plus 16 upon x. Now it can also be written as x square plus 16 x raised to minus 1 by taking x in the numerator. And when we find the derivative, we get f dash x as x square becomes 2x and 16 x raised to minus 1. We use the formula for x raised to n, I mean. So n into x raised to n minus 1. So minus 1 into 16 x raised to minus 1 minus 1, which turns out to be 2x minus 16 x raised to minus 2. Now this x raised to minus 2 can be taken in the denominator and it becomes like this. So this is the answer. So f dash of x becomes 2x minus 16 upon x square. That is how we get the answer. Now once the concept is thorough, you need not write the intermediate steps which are given in blue. You can directly write the step for f dash of x. Then as usual, we also find the derivative for f dash of x. That is, we find f double dash of x. Again, I have written the steps for you in the brackets so that you will understand how it is done. So same thing that we did for fx. F dash of x can be written like this. That is 2x minus 16 x raised to minus 2. X square is brought to the numerator. It becomes x raised to minus 2. Thus, we get f double dash of x as 2x becomes 2 minus 16x raised to minus 2 becomes minus 2 into 16 x raised to minus 2 minus 1. Using the same formula, x raised to n is equal to n into x raised to n minus 1. So we get the sum like this. That is 2 plus 32 x raised to minus 3. That x raised to minus 3 now can be taken in the denominator and made positive. So we get our f double dash of x, that is the second derivative of 2 as 2 plus 32 upon x cube. Now that we obtain this, the next few steps are same. That is, when f dash of x is 0, we write 2x minus 16 upon x square as 0. And thus, we get 2x is equal to 16 upon x square. X square can be taken to the LHS and the simplification can be done further like this. Thus, we get x as 2. Now, when x is 2, f double dash of x is 2 plus 32 upon x cube. So, f double dash 2 becomes, we put x as 2 in this equation and thus we get the value as 6, which is positive. So, we say that fx attains minimum at x is equal to 2. And the minimum value f2, that is in the question fx, we put f2, which becomes 2 square plus 16 upon 2. So, it comes out as 12. Now, this sum can be done as assignment. Similarly, the next sum also. These sums are similar to the previous sums which you have done just now. Do it as assignment. I have given you the answer also in the bracket so that you can compare your answers and see if you are getting the correct one or not. All the other sums also, needless to say, need to be written in notebook. Now, we go to question 2. Divide the number 20 into 2 parts such that their product is maximum. Remember, word problems are an essential part of the question paper. So, any one of these word problems you can get in the question paper to solve and they will come for at least 3 or 4 marks. So, we come back to this question. We have to divide the number 20 into 2 parts so that the product is maximum. When we multiply them, we get the maximum value. So, let the first part of 20 be x. So, the second part will be 20 minus x, isn't it? Now, according to the given condition, the product is x into 20 minus x. So, we say let fx is equal to x into 20 minus x. We simplified by writing 20x minus x square by opening the bracket, etc. And then as usual, we go on to find f dash of x. So, f dash of x becomes 20 minus 2x. Then we also find the second derivative which comes out to be minus 2. When we find the derivative of 20 minus 2x, we get minus 2. Then, now don't conclude the answer from this step itself. You have to do further and complete the second derivative test. Only then will your answer be considered in the board exam. Otherwise, you will lose marks. So, when f dash of x is 0, we get 20 minus 2x as 0 or x becomes 10. Now, let us decide whether 10 is maximum or minimum, whatever. So, for x is equal to 10, f double dash of x is minus 2 as we have got previously. So, f double dash of 10 is also minus 2, isn't it? So, minus 2 is negative and therefore we conclude that fx attains maximum at x is equal to 10. So our answer for x is 10. What about the other answer? We have to find two parts of 20, isn't it? So the other answer becomes 20 minus 10, which is 10 again. So the two parts of 20 are 10 and 10. Now this sum, I have given it to you as an assignment. I have put the answer also in the bracket. You can just do it and see it if you are getting the concept of it. Question 3, which is another important question. A metal wire 36 cm long is bent to form a rectangle. Understand the question properly. So this particular wire, which is long, linear, is bent and a rectangle is formed from it. Find its dimensions so that its area is maximum. Now what are the dimensions of a rectangle? The dimensions are the length and breadth of the rectangle. So we are supposed to find the length and breadth of the rectangle so that that particular rectangle has maximum area. So now when the wire is bent into a rectangle, the entire length of the wire becomes the perimeter of the wire. Remember, perimeter is a sum of the dimensions of a figure. So here, the perimeter of the rectangle becomes 36. The length becomes the perimeter here. The formula for perimeter of the rectangle is 2 length plus breadth. So suppose we take the length of the rectangle as x and the breadth of this particular rectangle as y. Then we get 2x plus y is equal to 36 from the formula for perimeter. That is, x plus y turns out to be 18 or y turns out to be 18 minus x. Let us keep this in mind now. Area of the rectangle is given by the formula length into breadth. You will be knowing this already. Now for our particular rectangle, we have x into y as the area. So x into y can be written as x into 18 minus x because we've got the value of y as 18 minus x. So this is the function, that is this x into 18 minus x is the function to be maximized. So we take this as fx. So fx becomes x into 18 minus x, that is 18x minus x square. Opening the bracket and simplifying, we get 18x minus x square. Then f dash of x, finding the derivative of that function, we get 18 minus 2x. We also find the second derivative, which comes out as minus 2. Then we put f dash of x as 0. Thus we get this function 18 minus 2x as 0. Thus x comes out to be 9. Now for x is equal to 9, f dash of x remains same, that is minus 2. So f dash of 9 is also minus 2. Minus 2 is obviously negative, and therefore we say that fx attains maximum at x is equal to 9. So length of the rectangle we get as 9 cm. X is 9, length of the rectangle is 9. What about the breadth? Breadth is y, we had taken it, isn't it? Now y we had got it as 18 minus x from equation 1. So it turns out to be 18 minus 9, which is 9 cm. So these are the dimensions of the rectangle. The third question, that is another question I have given you over here. You can try it out as an assignment. You can do it in the same way as the previous, just now what we did, the sum that is there. Question 4. The total cost of producing x units is rupees x square plus 60x plus 50, and the selling price is given as 180 minus x per unit. They are asking for what units is the profit maximum. Again, as commerce students, you should consider that this sum is important because sums involving cost price, selling price, etc. are given more preference also during in the board paper that is there. Okay, so here what is given to us? The total cost price is given to us. The selling price for 1 unit is given to us. We have to find out the value of x such that the profit is maximum. So selling price is 180 minus x per unit for 1 unit. Therefore the total selling price becomes SP is equal to 180 minus x into x. That is 180x minus x square. The cost price is anyway, total cost price is given to us, and so this is the direct equation over here. Then profit, the formula for profit you already know, it is selling price minus cost price. That is the first equation for SP what we got minus CP. Opening the bracket, changing the signs after the bracket because there is a minus sign outside the bracket. and then simplifying it further, we get the answer for profit as minus 2x square plus 120x minus 50. Suppose we put it as a function, say px is the function. Then, as usual, px is the function to be maximized. So first we find p dash of x, that is we find the derivative of px, which turns out to be minus 4x plus 120. Then we find p double dash of x, that is the second derivative, which is minus 4. And then we put p dash of x as 0 as usual. Thus we get minus 4x plus 120 is equal to 0. Thus x turns out to be 30. Now when x is 30, p double dash of x is minus 4 and therefore p double dash of 30 is also minus 4. Since it is negative, we say that px is maximum at x is equal to 30. So our conclusion is profit is maximum for 30 units. Now this sum you can try it out as assignment in your notebook. The answer again as usual I have given it in the bracket. With this we finish with exercise 4.3. Now what remains of this concept is some of the sums which are given in the miscellaneous exercise, which can also come in the board exam. So that we'll cover in the next lecture. So as usual my request is do subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell icon and like this video if you find it interesting. Keep practicing, keep healthy and safe. We'll meet in the next lecture now.